Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's been on a lot of people's minds lately. Why Canadians are feeling frustrated right now. It feels like everywhere you look there's something to be concerned about. From heated political debates to the ever-increasing cost of living, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Even Canada's political leaders acknowledge that Canadians are struggling. On a recent episode of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Prime Minister Trudeau recognized the frustration many Canadians are experiencing. He mentioned that the housing crisis is a little sharper in Canada than in the US, but is that the only issue, or are there more underlying reasons for this frustration? In today's video, we will examine the top 10 reasons why Canadians are unhappy with the current situation. What's fueling this growing anger? Let's dive into 10 shocking reasons why Canadians are feeling discontent. Number 4 will leave you questioning what's next for the nation.
First on the list is something affecting nearly every Canadian: the staggering rise in the cost of living. From grocery stores to gas pumps, prices are out of control. In fact, food prices alone have jumped by more than 6% this year. Families are spending over $1,000 more on groceries annually than just a couple of years ago. According to Statistics Canada, inflation pushed food prices up by 6% in 2024, while housing costs continue to climb, especially in cities like Toronto and Vancouver, where homeownership is becoming nearly impossible for young Canadians. These increases hit hardest for those living paycheck to paycheck. Imagine trying to balance housing, groceries, and utilities on a stagnant income.
2. Stagnant wages falling behind. While the cost of living continues to skyrocket, Canadian wages have hardly budged. In fact, Canadian workers have seen wage stagnation over the past decade, making it nearly impossible for many to keep up. Compared to our neighbors in the US, the wage gap has grown significantly. The average Canadian income is about $57,800, which pales in comparison to the average US income of nearly $74,000. With inflation running high, this wage gap is more painful than ever, and for those lucky enough to afford a home.
3. Housing crisis. Dream or delusion? The Canadian dream of owning a home. For many, it's becoming a delusion. Housing prices have hit record highs, making home ownership an elusive goal for most young Canadians. In Toronto, for example, the average home price now exceeds a staggering $1.2 million. As of 2024, Toronto and Vancouver have become two of the most unaffordable cities globally, with average home prices hovering around $1.2 million and $1.4 million, respectively. And it's not just about buying a home. Rental prices have exploded, with rent for a one-bedroom in Vancouver surpassing $2,800 per month. These insane prices are leaving Canadians asking, where do we go from here?
4. Tax burden. Canada's generous social programs come with a steep cost: taxes. In 2024, many Canadians find themselves paying more in taxes than they do for basic necessities like food and shelter. That's right, more than half of your paycheck could be going to tax. The Fraser Institute reports that the average Canadian family spends about 44% of their total income on taxes. Compare that to what they spend on housing, food, and clothing, and you begin to understand the frustration. For many, this tax burden is becoming unbearable, especially when paired with stagnant wages and rising costs. In a report dated July 25, 2024, a survey by Ipsos for the Montreal Economic Institute revealed that 72% of Canadians believe they pay excessive taxes. Additionally, 77% feel that the taxes they pay are too high compared to the services they receive.
5. Job market struggles. Where are the jobs? Despite reports of job creation, many Canadians are struggling to find stable, well-paying jobs. While the government sector has seen growth, private sector job opportunities have lagged. This uneven development leaves many Canadians without the employment security they need. According to Statistics Canada, the unemployment rate in Canada is 6.6% as of end of August 2024. For the everyday Canadian, this translates into longer job searches and often less pay.
6. Energy sector restrictions. In provinces like Alberta, where the energy sector used to thrive, New federal policies have crippled the oil and gas industries. Stringent environmental regulations and project cancellations have left thousands of workers unemployed. In 2024, delays in key oil and gas projects, alongside the shift towards greener policies, have resulted in significant job losses and economic hardship in energy-dependent provinces like Alberta. While environmental protections are crucial, the rapid pace of change has left many Canadians in resource-rich provinces struggling to adapt.
7. Canada's national debt continues to skyrocket, with projections showing it will surpass $1.2 trillion in 2024. This growing debt means that future generations will likely face even higher taxes and more economic instability. The federal debt grew by 70% over the last 5 years, due to emergency pandemic spending and ongoing government programs, leaving Canadians questioning who will pay off this enormous sum. With no clear plan to reduce the debt, many Canadians are wondering, how much more can the economy take before we hit a breaking point? The Parliamentary Budget Officer predicts federal debt could exceed $2.4 trillion by 2027, a worrying prospect for future generations. And who will be responsible for paying off this debt? It will fall on the shoulders of everyday Canadian workers.
8. Political discontent. From pandemic restrictions to handling global conflicts, Canadian political leaders are facing mounting pressure as public frustration grows. Trust in the government is rapidly eroding, with recent polls indicating a sharp decline in support for the ruling party. Many Canadians are increasingly viewing the leadership as ineffective and disconnected from their everyday challenges. The political landscape is in flux, and with confidence in traditional leaders waning, it remains uncertain whether any party can restore the trust Canadians once had in their government. A survey conducted by Ipsos further highlights widespread dissatisfaction with the federal government's management of public spending, revealing concerns over the level of spending, responsibility, and transparency demonstrated by the government.
9. Immigration and strained services. Canada's rapid immigration growth has triggered a heated national debate. While welcoming newcomers is a cornerstone of Canada's identity, many Canadians worry the government is outpacing its ability to support them. Housing affordability is a key concern, with the demand driving up home prices in cities like Toronto, where the average home price now exceeds $1.2 million. Canadians feel they are being priced out of the market. Healthcare is also under pressure, with increasing wait times and overcrowded hospitals, particularly in areas with high immigration. The system is struggling to accommodate both new arrivals and an aging population. While immigration is vital to Canada's growth, many believe the government hasn't fully prepared, leaving existing residents to bear the brunt of rising costs and strained services. Without proper planning, frustration is growing.
Finally, global instability. As global conflicts continue to escalate, from the war in Ukraine to ongoing tensions in the Middle East, Canada's involvement in these international events has sparked a growing divide in public opinion. While some Canadians believe that the country should play an active role on the global stage, others argue that the government's focus on foreign affairs is overshadowing urgent issues closer to home. Critics say that resources and attention directed toward global conflicts could be better used to address the country's own economic struggles, housing crisis, healthcare system, and rising cost of living. With inflation, unemployment, and household debt rising, many Canadians feel abandoned as they perceive their government to be more concerned with international diplomacy than with solving everyday challenges. The frustration over this perceived imbalance has led to increasing discontent. As Canadians grapple with these pressing domestic concerns, the government's focus on global instability only adds to a growing sense of unease about the country's direction. Many are left questioning whether Canada's leadership is truly prioritizing the needs of its own citizens during this turbulent period.
As we navigate these challenges, it's evident that many Canadians are frustrated with the current direction of the country. From the rising cost of living and overburdened public services to debates surrounding immigration and global involvement, these issues are undeniably complex. Yet, Canadians have always been resilient, overcoming tough times in the past. What do you think? Is there a clear path forward, or are we facing even more uncertainty? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, we'd love your support. Please hit the subscribe button and like the video to stay updated on our latest content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.